Just a chat of gratitude. My plan today is just to share with you what a nice day I had yesterday. So, for those of you who are new, welcome to Senior Insights. My name is Cynthia, and we would love to have you join our channel. So, please like and subscribe. Stick it out to the end. Anyway, my day yesterday was awesome. I had a really, really nice day, and I felt like I wanted to share it with my friends. And so here I am. My daughter in law and my son, my oldest son, decided to renew their wedding vows yesterday. They've been married for 25 years and they've had some rough times, health issues, parental issues, all kinds of things and challenges. And they have stuck it out and they are in love and they are committed to each other and they love Jesus and the Lord and they wanted to renew their wedding vows and commit to each other again. So I thought, well, I guess they're just going to do it, in front of their pastor and maybe a few, their immediate family and stuff. Well, when their friends got wind of it, the friends decided that they were going to have a big celebration because none of the friends, the local friends, were there for the first wedding. And they have some very close, very good friends. So they began to plan this wedding vow renewal like a wedding. The girls went shopping for dresses. They weren't successful, but they had fun. They did all of the things a 21-year-old woman would do planning her first wedding. They had planning meetings. They had girls' nights figuring out how to pull this off. And the bride was kind of reluctant to do this because this isn't quite what she planned, but she kind of got into it too. And then my son's friends, the spouses of all of these women, they got into it too. So they all had so much fun, like young kids planning a wedding. Now, this wasn't your typical wedding. It wasn't at a country club. It wasn't in a beautiful church with a beautiful aisle. But it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was very nice. Everyone had a wonderful time. So let me tell you about the church. They go to a church that it's called the Rock Church, and it's Christian, and they do a lot of music and praising God and live baptisms and stuff. And it's just a really upbeat, welcoming, kind church. So they had it there, and they love their pastor, and the pastor loves them. They've been going there for maybe 13, 14 years. And where am I going with this? So we're all sitting in the church. It's actually in a building that is kind of dressed up as a church inside. And my sister is there, and my daughter is there. And I was talking to some friends, and my daughter pointed out to me that I was speaking too loud. I'm an embarrassment to my daughter. I said, Erica, why do I always feel like you're embarrassed by your mother? And my sister pipes up. She said, well, you are talking too loud. And I said to myself, well, you guys don't even talk at all. So there. I'm having fun. Anyway, I was having fun. I had a good time and I enjoyed the people that I saw. But back to the story. The boys all wore khaki pants and green suspenders, and they have 3 sons. They have a 21-year-old, they have a 22-year-old, a 21-year-old, and an 8-year-old. So these 3 kids were in the wedding, all dressed alike, all different sizes. It was precious, really. They all love each other so much. It's such a loving and Christian home. I mean, it's amazing. Like the kids like hanging out with their parents at 20 and 21. That in itself is a miracle. They live with their grandfather. Her dad lives with them because he is unable to live on his own. He's disabled. He has dementia, and he is wheelchair bound. So this was one of the highlights of the wedding, in my opinion. All the men are standing up, in the front of the church, waiting for the bride to come down. And one of the kids is wheeling their grandfather, her father, and he gets to go down the aisle with her. Well, he wasn't there for her first wedding, and he always regretted it. He used to say he was so sorry that he wasn't there. He just couldn't make it. It was a long-distance wedding. He lived in Louisiana, very poor man. He didn't have the means to come, and no one had the means to get him up there. So, and they were married in Massachusetts. Anyway, so he starts crying. She starts crying. It was just really touching and very special. He said, I finally get to walk my daughter down the aisle and give her away. So that was really sweet. Then my youngest grandson, he was the ring bearer. He's 8 years old, and he wore sunglasses. And he had a little black suitcase that said security on it. And the wedding rings were in the black suitcase. So he was responsible for the wedding rings. I said, Henry, why are you wearing sunglasses? He says, because I am security. So anyway, they renewed their vows. It was very nice. And then they took tons and tons of pictures. I mean, more than you would have at a regular wedding. But it was so worth it. All the kids, all the bridesmaids. Oh, I didn't tell you about the bridesmaids. So the girls, her friends, the bridesmaids, they didn't have matching dresses. But they all had the same color green dresses, and they all wore silver shoes, and they each had a bouquet. She had a bouquet that one of the girls made. And the boys had boutonnieres that one of the girls made. And it was just really priceless, actually. It was not like any wedding you've ever seen, but it was priceless. It was really special. So then after that, they had a party at a snowmobile club. Now, thinking a snowmobile club, you'd say, well, that doesn't sound like a very fancy wedding to me. Well, when you walked into that snowmobile club, it was totally decorated with sparkling lights, twinkling lights, beautiful table settings with green runners on the white tablecloth, and branches and swags all over the table. It was just beautiful. And then her friends also planned this buffet. The buffet was set around the places that my son and daughter-in-law lived. They were both in the Air Force, and they met in Guam. So there were dishes from Guam there. Then they lived in Las Vegas, so there were Tex-Mex dishes there. She was from Louisiana, so there were Cajun dishes like gumbo. Then they live in New England now, so they had clam chowder. And the food was a story of their marriage. So I thought that was a very clever idea. But when we went in, all their friends made the food, and it was set up nice. They had, silver forks and spoons and everything. I mean, it was just really, really nice. Then they had a table. I've never seen this done before. They had a table with no one sitting at it. I know a lot of restaurants do that for the military. And I said, what's this for? Well, it's for all the people that couldn't come, like Nana and Grampy and my husband, Alan, and So that was a very special touch, and that meant a lot to me. So anyway, the food was great. Then the company. Now these two have what you'd call real friends that put on all this stuff. That they talk on the phone all the time. They Facebook all the time. They do everything together. Their kids do everything together. Kids are always welcome. Of course, the little kids at weddings, they were having a ball dancing, even though there wasn't any music. They were having a good time. But they had friends that came up from Louisiana, not family members now, because, this was kind of this renewal of the vows. But these friends, two of her best friends, they were her next door neighbors when she was growing up. She hasn't seen them in about 28 years. One of them, her and her husband came, and they came only for the occasion, and then they flew back home. Then another one of her neighbors, her friend, she said both of them were her best friends when she was growing up. She came up and stayed for several days and helped with the wedding planning. She was in the wedding party. And they pretended they were having a sleepover just like they used to when they were kids. So they made the most of this occasion. Oh, and then there's my son's friend who was his roommate when he was in the Air Force. Now you're talking 25 plus years. And he came up, he lives between Florida and St. Louis because he's got a fancy job and he commutes back and forth. Well, he and his partner came up. And he was the best man, but he came up voluntarily. He says, I'm coming to this. And he came, and all that distance, and he just stayed in Maine for that day. How cool is that? And I enjoyed talking with them. That's the one I was too loud with, that my daughter pointed out to me. Anyway, the point of the whole thing is that it was a really nice day. I had a really nice time, even though I was wondering what it was going to be like, and because I knew it wasn't a conventional thing. And despite the fact that I say I don't care what anybody thinks, of course I do. I think we all do on some level. Somebody's going to tell me, and I know exactly who it is that she doesn't care. But I think that we all do. And so anyway, that was my day yesterday. And then I woke up today and I said, I can't wait to go and tell my friends about my day yesterday. So this isn't a learning video. This isn't any kind of video except me sharing my gratitude. And the other thing that I'm very grateful for is all of you people. I feel like you are my friends. And that's why I wanted to share with you my experience. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you felt a little bit of joy because we are working on joy. And I hope you're doing your gratitude journals because this is something that I put in my gratitude journal. Anyway, thank you all for joining me for my coffee. Thank you for subscribing and liking, and write a comment about some experience that you've had that was memorable, that gave you joy, that was not a conventional event. Thanks. Bye-bye.